Welcome to Founders Feature, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Dawn Murden, a confidence and empowerment coach who helps women break free from self-doubt, rebuild self-trust, and step fully into their authentic power. Through her coaching, Dawn supports clients navigating life transitions, emotional healing, and personal growth, guiding them to reconnect with who they truly are and create lives rooted in clarity, confidence, and self-worth. She's passionate about helping women stop shrinking themselves and start living boldly, aligned with their values and inner strength. Dawn, a very warm welcome to Founders Feature.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great episode. We have a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background though. So before coaching, can you walk us through what were you doing previously and what was really your inspiration for getting into this space?
Yeah, of course. I started off my career as a journalist. So I studied multimedia journalism at Bournemouth University here in the UK, and then did an internship for a bit, and then finally landed a full-time role at Real Life Women's Weekly magazine and was there for a number of years. I started off as an editorial assistant and then moved up into features writer, and then also edited the health pages as well. And then that magazine closed down, like a lot of magazines were at the time. So I pivoted into business journalism, first at a trade publication, and then I was at a C-suite and board membership company. And I was an editor there. So I mainly helped the advisory partners get their pieces seen in that community. And then also did panels, helped with events and things like that too. And then after that, I pivoted again into SaaS, where I was first training and support manager at a company called Shorthand, which is a digital storytelling tool. So it still had that sort of link to journalism. And then I eventually led the customer success team there before I resigned March this year, so 2025. And I had started studying coaching before. So I did a leadership program, and that was like my first taste of coaching. I really loved it and thought, oh, this is excellent. I really want to study this myself and help others realize the things that I realized through coaching. So I decided to study it. And to be honest, I thought that running my own coaching business was probably a bit more into the future, but I decided that no, this is what I'm going to do now. Following a period of burnout, really wasn't very well at the beginning of the start of this year. So decided to step into my portfolio career. So I'm also a board trustee for some really fantastic charities. I do some work with Mind, the charity, and also at the NHS as well. So it's all around mental health and reflecting on my own struggles, also my family struggles as well. And then coaching, of course, is a big part of what I'm doing as well.
Quite the journey, but as is every entrepreneur's journey, right? 5, 10 years ago, most people would say they never would have guessed they are where they're at, but that's just a fun part of life.
Yeah, so true.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's dive into the present day today, especially when it comes to the coaching. Can you walk us through what does it typically look like working with yourself? Who are you typically working with? Everything like that.
Yeah, so I would say it's really interesting so coaching, of course, is an unregulated industry, first off. So there's a lot of coaches out there that say they're coaches. There's a lot of coaches out there that do coaching, mentoring, leadership development. There's a bit of a mixed bag. When I started my coach training, and there's a lot of training you can do, so I'd still say I'm very much in the infancy of my coaching, but they encourage you to find a niche. And it's really difficult actually to work out what your niche is going to be and who you're going to work with. But I think who I'm mainly working with today, which I'm only gone full time doing it this year, so I'm still meeting new clients and every day is different, which I love about that. But I'd say the people that are most attracted to working with me or feel like they're getting the most help are usually people that are looking to make a huge career or life pivot. And I think they recognize that I've done that. So they naturally gravitate towards me for those stories. And then also people that are looking to break into SaaS, so break into that startup world. They want to understand how it works. Those who want to get into customer success, those who want to get into sales, which is sort of closely linked. There's a lot of transferable skills there. And then I would say, and this is a bit more general, but you've mentioned like emotional healing aspect. I guess because I talk so openly about being, which I only started doing a few years ago, to be honest, about being neurodivergent and also my kind of challenges with mental health as well. I guess people are gravitated towards me for that too. And then and it's interesting when you're a coach because all you're there to do as a coach is you believe that your clients have the power. They have all that they need within inside themselves to take themselves forward, but they're essentially stuck. And you're there as a facilitator, like customer success in a way as well. You are there as a facilitator just to ask lots of really insightful questions, and those are always the real favorite moments I think with clients, is where they have these, and it sounds cheesy in a way but it's true, is they have these massive breakthroughs. And for me, when I was coached, I really struggled to deal with a lot of stuff when I transitioned into a leadership position where I was at an organization where I was homegrown, because you find you're a peer and then one day you're a leader and you think you're meant to know all the answers and all sorts. And one of the things I was struggling with, a few things, and one of the coaches said to me that I had is, okay, it sounds so when we started working together, your values and beliefs were X, Y, and Z. And one of your key values has been breached here. And that is why this is something that you can't get out of your mind. I'm definitely an overthinker as well, like many of us, and suffer with anxiety and depression too. So there's definitely a thread of that in there that causes overthinking and not being able to let certain things go. But when you realize that, like at your very core, if a value is like honesty and someone is dishonest with you, or you feel they are dishonest with you, then there's no wonder why you can't let that go. But sometimes you do need a coach to not tell you that, but lead you, yeah, not make you drink the water, but lead you to the fountain,
Yeah.
so you can drink that water yourself and be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense now.
We all need to be led. It could be different areas in our lives, but we all certainly need a leader at some point or another in our lives. That is for sure. Very cool. So those are the type of people you're typically working with. How does it work? Excuse me. How does it look working with you typically? Are you doing a lot of one-on-one work? Any group coaching? Walk us through that process.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture. So I'd say probably the sort of what's probably making up the bulk of work at the moment is the one-to-one, but then also doing group coaching. Currently working on developing a workshop with a fellow colleague as well, who comes from quite a different background in her career. So we're joining forces to put together an offering, which would be more for aspiring leaders. Because I think a lot of people get into leadership roles because they are really good individual contributors. They're good ICs, they're good at what they do. Maybe they overperform. Perhaps they're really good at influencing their peers and also influencing up an organization as well. So they get into these leadership positions. And actually, there's so much that you need to do as a leader to motivate a team to help grow like future leaders as well. And no one's really geared up for that. So that's a workshop that we want to do for aspiring leaders, which is really exciting. Yeah, so a lot of one-to-one work and some group work as well. Or sometimes working with companies as well, going in and finding out what they need. Maybe there's a team that they have that is maybe not quite gelling together. So coming in and helping that team work better together, getting to the root of the problem. When you're in an organization, you're so close to everything. So sometimes you can't necessarily see what the issues are. So having that outside influence coming in can be so valuable. And then the process, I guess a lot of coaches, mentors out there, it's you have a discovery call, you meet, you talk to each other, you see what the challenges are, what the goals are, what they want to work on, and really importantly, find out if you're the coach to work with them as well. And coaching is such a fantastic community as well, because it's really not competitive. It's if I meet someone and I think, or a company, and I think I can't help them, but I know who can, because you meet all these other wonderful coaches that are have their own niche or their own area of expertise that they're working with. So there's always someone that you can signpost someone to. And it's very like not competitive in that way, which is nice. Because in journalism, it was always quite dog eat dog world, especially in real life journalism. That was quite a crazy bag. And then, yeah, it depends on what the person or the team or the company needs. So maybe you go in for a one-time intervention, or most often it's usually like a program or a bundle offering where you're working with them over a period of time to help them go from A to B and guide them to where they need to go.
Got it. Okay. Looking to the back end of the business for a second, how are your clients currently finding you to work with you?
I would say mainly on LinkedIn, and some through the website. They land on the website, they're searching for something, and they just happen to come across what they're looking for. They find me, they book a discovery call and come through that way. I've also, I know we were talking about at the beginning, I've also launched a podcast as well. So some people, are picking that up. I've only released 3 episodes at this point, but it's great that people are finding out about not just me, but also the guests as well. And then finding out like what courses they're doing or what other offerings that they might be doing, or just making a connection and kind of building that network. That's really nice. And then there's a few directories out there, coaching directories, where I'm listed too. These sort of people can find me through there as well.
Nice. LinkedIn, interesting place. So that's your main source right now. I'm curious, what's your content strategy, would you say, on LinkedIn? Are you doing a lot of short form, long form? Walk us through that process.
Oh gosh. So I have a real love-hate relationship with all of social media. I have 4 Instagram accounts for various things, personal and like professional stuff. Yeah, still on Facebook, still on LinkedIn, and I cross promote across all of those different social channels. What is my strategy? I'll be totally honest. I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out. Some things I are just like, oh, I get an idea and I post it, just totally random. Those posts tend to perform. Oh, sorry. I think
Yeah, you're good. Let's hit pause for a second. Seems like the mic changed.
it did. Yeah, sorry. It
No, you're
flipped
good.
over for some reason. Maybe I knocked the wire. Sorry.
No problem. This is why we record. There it
Right.
is. That sounds better.
Is it gone back now?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Sorry, I must have just knocked it and it came out.
you're good. Do you want me to start over with the question?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah,
Kind of.
totally. Don, you mentioned LinkedIn was your biggest driver for clients right now. LinkedIn can be a tricky one. Walk us through your content strategy on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with all social media. I've somehow wound up with 4 Instagram accounts for different things, still on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I sometimes find I can spend so much time on LinkedIn. It's doom scrolling on various social media accounts that can suck you in. But my strategy, I think, to be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out in terms of what works best. Sometimes I'll just get an idea of maybe something happened with a client, or I was cleaning out my house when we moved into our van. So I currently live in a van. And so I found this newsletter that I used to write for, and then posted that. And then that did really well as a post. And another post is that you spend a really long time thinking about what you're going to say, might not perform very well at all. I've tried a few different things, and what I'm now sticking to is really just leaning on the podcast for content, because I think the video content's really good because people see you, they can hear you speaking and think, okay, is this a person that I could potentially work with? And then also, I'd say a lot of just short form content, not massively long form. I've published some blogs as well and posted them on social media, but I've only done 2. But I definitely want to do some more blogs as well. I find also just jumping on and for the different organizations that I'm involved with, like Mind. I'm also a trustee at Age UK, a fantastic organization called Phoenix Enterprise. And yeah, also NHS work I do as well. It's just, I guess, commenting, keeping a pulse on what they're doing as well. And that's a great way of finding people. And I find that some people find me through that as well, I guess, because they see that I'm working. Yes, I'm a coach, but they also see that I'm working with these other organizations that they might have an interest in. And then they think, okay, if she's really interested in mental health, for example, I am too. Maybe I would like to work with her.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, I guess the,
2026.
the top line is I'm still figuring it out.
That's part of the journey. That's just part of the entrepreneur's journey. That is for sure. 2026 is slowly, but also very quickly creeping up on us. I'm curious if you've set any goals for yourself in the business you're looking to achieve next year.
Oh gosh, what are my goals? I think like year one as a business owner is so hard, and there's so much that you don't know, and there's so much that you want to do. And so I think the first year, and that will reset for me in June next year, is for me, this first year is all about experimentation. Is like putting myself out there, which was a hard thing to do anyway, putting yourself out there as a business owner for the first time. So I guess first year is experimentation. I think from next year, it will be more doubling down on the things that I've learned that are working well, but not ruling anything out for the last bit of this kind of first year journey. I'd say that is my goal. Continue to experiment and then double down on the things that are working well. And also just help more clients. Like I know imposter syndrome is talked about so much, but like it is a real thing. And sometimes I do have these huge wobbles. And I think I was in a really great company that was doing wonderful things with fantastic people. And I was there for 8 years. And I left that to start my own thing. So sometimes I have wobbles and I think, have I made the right decision? And I think when you get that feedback from clients and you see how much you've enabled them to help themselves, or you've gone in and you've done some group work and you just see how much of a difference it's made to people, I think that makes it, again, it sounds a bit cheesy, but that makes it all worth it. And I think, okay, I am doing the right thing, and just it's stay the course. But yeah, year 2 is definitely going to be what worked really well, and let's do more of that.
Every entrepreneur is going to go through those feelings, right? Especially in the first year, right? It's quite the time, a lot of learning involved. But if you just keep going, like you said, it'll all be worth it, and you'll figure out as well. So I love that journey. Absolutely. Dawn, where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you online?
So they can find me on LinkedIn, on my website, so dawnmurdencoaching.com. I'm also on Instagram, and the podcast that I host is called Seasons of Leadership, which is on Spotify. So they can find me there as well.
Perfect. Dawn, pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Dawn on all of her social media and website, and be sure to check out the podcast as well. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.